in an area shortly or not far from where we had previously discovered a piece of evidence, a shoe. It was about 10 to 15 feet away from a tributary that leads down to the lake, and it was covered in a shallow grave.
It breaks my heart to have to say that if you're just joining us, they believe they found the body of 17-year-old Chelsea King. They have found a young woman's body right near where she went missing, and it was in a shallow grave covered with debris, and it's pretty much just a matter of the medical examiner officially positively identifying this beautiful, beautiful girl's body as that of Chelsea King, an honor student, a runner, and the daughter of two wonderful people who are living in hell. Okay, something is wrong with our culture. The suspect in this case, who's expected to be arraigned tomorrow on murder and rape charges, attacked a 13-year-old girl in the year 2000, pummeling her face. She says he tried to rape her, he molested her. He got 5 years behind bars. Had he gotten what he should have gotten, he wouldn't have been free when Chelsea went jogging last Thursday. This is the guy we're talking about, John Gardner III, registered sex offender who was out and about when Chelsea went jogging, and now he is the suspect in her horrific death. And there is something wrong with our country, because on both sides of the Pacific Ocean, there seems to be a war on women. Let's head across the Pacific from California to Maui, where the search is being called off for a female hiker who vanished more than a week ago. But police tell Issues they are still investigating. 43-year-old Laura Vogel disappeared after texting a friend that she was camping and meeting the locals on Maui's beautiful beach coast. Who are these locals Laura was talking about? Were they transients living in the area where Laura's car was found? Her car was spotted with the passenger door wide open and the key still in the ignition. Tonight, brand new details coming into Issues. We spoke to an investigator working on the case. He tells us Laura's car was parked on private property in a grassy, brush-filled area, an area in Maui where many homeless locals are known to live out of their cars. He tells us it's very unusual for a hiker planning on being gone for just a day to park their car there. We have spoken to everyone living around the area where Laura's van was found. Laura's family thinks somebody has to know what happened. Listen.
People saw Laura. People know, she saw her that night. People saw her that night, and they know something. People know someone. Someone knows something. And we need to find those people. People know what happened. People at least know what she was doing that night.
Laura's very last call, she dialed a number that phone records show she had never, ever called before. And the number was not saved on her cell phone. Okay, so who was the last person to speak to Laura Vogel? Police say they are one step closer to finding that mystery man. Straight out to my awesome expert panel, and also joining us, we're delighted to have tonight Laura's sister-in-law, Jessica Vogel. Also joining by phone, her brother, Tim Vogel. Tim, are you still on the ground in Maui? And if so, what is the latest on your frantic search to find your precious sister?
I am here. And if I could just say one thing real quick.
Sure.
About what the police said is that it's very unusual for someone to be there at night. I disagree with that. It's a beautiful place overlooking the ocean with huge cliffs. It's just a glorious looking place. Laura had been there during the day and just thought it was beautiful, and she just went out there for the night. It's a beautiful place. She just didn't know what element was there. But
so when you say element, what are you referring to?
There are homeless people that live out there.
Yeah. I mean, this to me is clearly a foul play case. I mean, who leaves their door open when they go hiking or camping, and who leaves their key in the ignition? Jessica Vogel, you're Laura's sister-in-law. Police found the back of Laura's cell phone, the part that holds the battery, near that transient camp where they found her car. She apparently made 2 phone calls to a number that was not in her cell phone book, and when police called that number, they got this voicemail of a very rough-sounding man. And tonight, try to explain this to us. Police are saying they tracked down the man who this number belongs to, but he says, I haven't used that number in more than 10 years, and he's not the same person who has the same voice as the cell phone, the gruff figure on the cell phone voicemail?
Right. To be honest, I actually can't explain that to you. I don't know any more information basically than that. That's all I've been told. I don't know if Tim has anything, that he can elaborate on there.
All right, Tim, this cell phone, tell us what you know.
Yeah, all I can say is that the cell phone has provided useful information, which is, and there are several other things that are coming in, information on this case, which has resulted in people being brought in and being questioned. So there is activity, new activity happening on this case.
Police tell us they're not sure what to think. Laura's mom fears foul play. She worries police might believe her daughter just fell off the cliff. Listen to her.
I think they feel that she slipped and fell over the cliff, which is a 50 to 60 foot sheer rock cliff that goes right into the ocean. It's extremely difficult because you just feel like your hands are tied. You don't know what you can do. We need closure of some sort.
Jessica Vogel, police apparently are saying they don't have any evidence to point them in either direction. How is that so? I mean, who goes hiking and leaves their door open and their keys in the ignition? What do you think?
We definitely are extremely suspicious. We're pretty certain that foul play is involved from our perspective. The police I know are investigating. They are in a full force investigation right now. I think our primary focus right now is to find someone who knows something. We know for a fact that Laura was with people the night that she disappeared, and we have not talked to those people, and we need to find those people. That's our primary focus right now.
And those people are the locals that she referred to, having fun with the locals?
Exactly. She texted a message that said, I'm meeting all the locals. So whoever the locals were that were immediately, in that area that she was referring to are people that she was with, and somebody knows something. We're sure of it.
And take a look at, we do have a photograph of the cliffs in this area, and they are obviously very, very steep. And apparently not far away from there is the ocean at the bottom. So if someone were to fall off that cliff, it would mean sure death. But the family, as you're hearing right now, doesn't think that she would go hiking. It doesn't make any sense, all right? Because why would you go hiking late at night anyway? It would seem that there's something that's seriously wrong. Laura's friends have been searching the ground, scaling cliffs, searching this area, and they've actually talked to some of these transients who say they know absolutely nothing. Listen to this.
The guy was like, oh, never seen her before. And the way he was talking, you can just basically tell when some people are lying. And he said, I was very suspicious of this guy in the first place.
Now, according to the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, Hawaii, I thought, was just this beautiful paradise where everybody golfs and surfs, but apparently there's a widespread crystal meth problem, which they call ice there. Judge Marilyn Millan, there is no area of the United States that is exempt from crime, and certainly not Hawaii.
Right. I mean, there have been a lot of theories propounded about what could have possibly happened and whether, perhaps anybody who was not she, of course, but somebody else who was involved in drugs, whether this could have somehow, had something to do with it. We don't know. I think that the emphasis, just as the family stated now, is to try to get people out there who are watching this right now, who may have spoken to her that night, to come forward with the tiniest little bit of information that might lead to something that is usable and that can solve this mystery.
Mark Harold, you're the investigator. What should they do? Tim, Laura's brother, on the ground in Maui, what would you tell him to do right now?
Well, this is a tough case. I mean, you're going to start with the phone, you're going to start with the car, you're in the outdoors, so physical evidence is tough. But, the bottom line here is I agree. You've got to talk to these transient people, and I'm not trying to be glib, but it's much easier to find people and interview them when they live somewhere. You've got a group of people who by nature are moving around. They may not be they may not come forward to the police. They may have had some interactions with the police that were not favorable. So I think you start with the technology, the phone, the physical evidence around the car, and the people, the transients.
All right. We are going to stay on top of that case. Laura and Tim, we are on your side. Unfortunately, we have yet another story. In the war